Welcome to the Saving 22 podcast, a podcast for veterans. I'm your host, Trevor Blazik. Let's get into the episode.
Hey, yo, we are back. Welcome back, everybody. I decided to just ask Tommy real quick to hop on a quick episode here. So this episode won't be the hour 15, hour 30. It's been a while, as y'all may know, since I've produced an episode. So figured since I got the idea, it's been stirring in my mind a little bit of talking about what the title suggests. Why not just let it rip? And Tommy was on the sidelines here just hanging out. So I figured I'd ask him. So, Tommy, thank you for coming on. Both of us in school and whatnot. So, finding a quick little extra minutes to hop on and talk military, help out the listeners here. So, anyways, welcome back. This is episode 6. Today, we will be talking about joining the military, kind of what to think about. This topic will be found in not most other episodes. I'll be doing more episodes on it because there's a lot to go into it. Definitely a different mindset to get into when joining the military and the perks, the pros, the cons, all that fun stuff. So I think we should preface this whole conversation with me and Tommy both had our fair share of difficulties in the military, different difficulties, but nonetheless, we both have ran into quite a bit of, I guess, adversity. I'm not sure how to put it, problems when in the military and getting out of the military, the mental side of things, physical side of things, just really everything. We've experienced the best the military has to offer, as well as the worst that the military offers. So, Tommy, you got anything to say, man?
Yeah, I mean, just with life, with anything, there's gonna be highs and lows. But it's definitely interesting to have experienced that while being in the military. Being a young guy, straight out of high school, just living it up, experiencing like not only do you have to figure out life, but you also have to figure out like the military. Like, how do you handle things? Is this something that I want to do, I want to keep doing for the rest of my life, or is it just a one-stop shop and then I pivot somewhere else? But yeah, I think there's a lot of different avenues you can go down, especially just in the military. And like, I hopefully this would be something that could help open up the military to like people that are kind of either on the fence or maybe just don't even know what it has to offer.
Yeah, so actually, I didn't even think about this before click and go or anything, but the difference between all the different branches. We're both Army fellas here. Um, and I chose Army because they let me choose my job. They literally put out all the jobs that you could have. You take the ASVAB, the test to see where you place mentally, how smart you are. And I was literally able to pick just about any job and go right into that. The Navy, I believe, is similar, but you're on a ship. And I didn't want to be on a ship. When I say you're on a ship, I've had buddies in the Navy. You literally, instead of having a barracks room, your room is in this bay in a ship. So if you want to live off the ship, you have to purchase your own apartment or split it with buddies, whatever it is. You're stuck in this ship in this bay with 80 other people living in bunk beds. That's your room. That's the spot you have. The
Damn.
Air Force is you pick your field, they choose your job. So for us helicopter guys, I wanted a helicopter engine, but we could have just put in helicopter maintenance and they would have picked whichever one we wanted, which actually I pretty much went to the Army and said, I just want helicopter maintenance. And they, they gave me a helicopter engine. So I pretty much did that. But also, Air Force is you get more money quicker, right? So for me and Tommy, I mean, I got married, so I kind of cheated the system, but also marriage cheated me. but, but anyways, BAH, you get a housing allowance, and in the military, in the or not military, in the Army, you have to be E6 and single to get that, or married. That's why you see a lot of the divorce rates that literally doubles your income. In the Air Force, I believe you get that at E4 single. So definitely something to consider there. And then the Marines, everybody kind of knows the Marines, just who they kind of are. What I will say about the Marines is there's no brotherhood like the Marines. So if that's what you're searching for, a lot of people never really have that. If I didn't go into the army, I never really would have had that. I go to University of South Florida now, and the quote unquote brotherhood that you get there, the I guess team you're a part of. I'm a part of a university. I get to wear the USF stuff, saying I went there, that type of stuff. Does not even compare to me wearing the USA hat and thinking about the Army boys and thinking about my time in the Army and knowing that I represented the flag and the country and all that stuff. So that's a little, I guess, a brief description of each of them when thinking about joining. And that I got from the recruiters and then my buddies that are also in. I would suggest if you're thinking about joining, go visit every recruiter. My father looked after me about that and just said, go look at all of them. So most offices, at least mine, had every recruiter in the office, every type of recruiter. And that would be my suggestion. Tommy, you got anything to add?
I would say when you're picking a job you want, I mean, like obviously a lot of people join the military because they don't know what they want to do yet. At least that was like what mine situation was. I was a little iffy, but try and focus on or find the field at least something similar to like a civilian job that you would want to do, and then try and find the like most exact match in the military. That way you have like the least amount of turnover. Like you don't have to worry about getting out. Shoot, you might decide that that field is for you and the military is for you, and now you can coast your way to 20 years and then just keep rolling.
Yeah, it gives you an option. My dad, another thing my dad looked out for me. I went in the office and he he said to my recruiter straight up, he said, "No, we need something he could get out and do. He needs a skill. So like don't join and become glorified janitor or infantry as we call it and have nothing to do when you get out, or combat engineer where you're just fixing bombs and have nothing to do when you get out. Try to find at least a skill that you get to learn while also in the military. And then, like you're saying, it opens up the option. I'm not doing helicopter maintenance now, but I had the option to do it. Just not the field I wanted to really be in. Um, yeah, I guess we'll get into. I, ge- ah, I don't know if it's much of a stigma, I guess you could say, around basic training now. Because when I was joining, I was kind of spooked. Like, I'll never make it. I started going to the gym before joining because I was scared. I'll never make it. I started going about 8 months before I joined, just thinking I'd never make it. It's going to be so hard. I had the idea of the movies where it's just so incredibly hard and all the stories and all the cool movies and everything. And it's not what it was like. what what were you thinking when you were about to join?
I mean, honestly, I had had some success with wrestling in high school, and so I kind of figured that, like, if I could do that, then I could do the like Army's basic training.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
if
right.
I had stigmas, it was about the Marines basic training. I was like, oh, the Marines one might be hard to pass, or like
Yeah.
the Navy. I was like, oh, the Navy. I'm not a strong swimmer. Like, I bet I would probably get like cycled out of that really fast or some shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know how the Navy's basic is or anything like that,
I'm
but
pretty sure the
yeah, the
Navy
Marines.
actually teaches you how to swim, like, if you don't know how to swim.
I mean, they might ought to.
Yeah, I'm sure if there's one place that ought to, like, know how to teach people how to swim, it would be the Navy.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little spooked when I was joining in, but now they changed basic training, so that stigma is almost completely gone. When I joined, there was still it was what red, blue, white phase, red, white, blue phase. What was it? Do you remember?
I don't remember the order, but it was something like that. What, do they not do faces anymore? I thought they would still do that.
I know they don't do red phase anymore. So red phase, we just did a bunch of push-ups, sit-ups pretty much every day, learning how to do PT, running, all that fun stuff. Then white phase was shooting, learning how to shoot. Blue phase was putting it all together or something, like maps and all that fun stuff. But now it's all critical thinking. Like they've completely changed the curriculum of basic training to where
I
it's
feel like
just
it's probably
work.
changed for the best. I mean, you're trying to take a lot of people and make them adaptable and work as a cohesive team. I feel like the old basic training, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have any comparison to the new one because I haven't gone to the new one. But I feel like with the old one, it was kind of like, hey, these are your peers. You're forced to like be together. Like, period. That's it. Like, we don't care. We don't care what happens. Like, just as long as you get the mission done. And I think maybe now they're trying to like pivot to being like, hey, let's teach people how to be a cohesive team and why it's good, why
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah, and to add on to that, if you're someone from a small town or never been out of the US or never been out of your state, or I mean, I grew up in the same spot 17 years, then lived in Florida for a year. You will see the most diverse group of people you'll ever meet in your entire life in the military. Like it's basically as if I traveled to Mexico, then traveled to Puerto Rico, then traveled to Europe. Like you see every single different type of person: big, tall, fat, skinny, black, white, Asian. You see every type of person, and that during basic training, that blew my mind over anything else, to be honest. Which also emphasizes why it's important to work on cohesion within the team because I mean, a lot of people in my platoon in the army barely spoke English. So it's like you got us all trying to work as a team. This dude don't even understand what I'm trying to say. but but yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the whole military experience. You become cultured pretty much. Like you just and I don't see any other way to do that unless you have buku bucks. Like I don't see any other way to experience all those different cultures and races and ethnicities than just joining the military and figuring it out.
Hmm.
But it is weird. I don't know how the phones work during basic training. Uh, I got mine like once every other month, I think, or once every other week, something like that. Every 3 weeks, I can't even remember. Uh, but I enjoyed not having it. If I'm going to be honest, it makes you more present. You're here to work with the team. Honestly, I liked sending letters and receiving letters. That was fun. And then, yeah, I didn't want to just like call every day and check up with my family. I wanted to finally, because I was 19, I wanted to do something on my own. Like, I don't want to have everybody on my back. I want to be able to live on my own. So, adding on to that a little bit was they, it's enticing and it looks good, the military, because they literally make it as easy as possible for you to grow up quick. Like they pay for everything. They pay you at monthly. They pay you or biweekly. They give you a place to stay. They give you food to eat. They give you training like workout, how to build a body. They give you everything you need to become just a person who could function in society. But then you're part of the army or navy, whatever military. They got their own little society. What you got to say, Tom?
I mean, on cultures, I think each branch kind of has its own different culture.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like the army's culture has changed a lot recently, which is a good thing.
Changed from what? What was the culture?
I don't know, man. Like in the beginning of my career, I just I felt like a number. I felt like I was just being bounced around places. I didn't really have a you have a sense of purpose, but like everybody has like the general sense of purpose. Like individually, like when I got home from working, I was like, "Oh, what the hell am I even really doing?" Now I feel like there's a pivot now to being like more focused on like developing people, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's not
Like
I
there's
mean, yeah,
more than just the army.
yeah, exactly. Like before it was like if you were thinking about anything outside the army, or like if you were one of the people that was gonna ETS, like and like just do your contract and get out, you were like a bad person or like people would look down on you. But now it's more so like it's more so just like a career choice. It's more like a job.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, just a job. It's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And personally, I think if you don't know what you're going to do, I think personally, I think every dude who graduates or gets through high school, whatever, 18 years old, should join. Rarely do you know what you want to be when you grow up when you're 18. Very, very, very rarely. And the advantages you get from joining the military are amazing. You get world experience, life experience. You get college paid for if you find out what you do want to do. You want to go to college. You get disability. You get paid the rest of your life, passive income for just being in the military. I will get that until I'm dead. And that little chunk of change, or big chunk of change, really helps with everything in my life. Like you are well taken care of financially after. So if you have no idea what you want to do, don't go grind a 9 to 5, or don't go grind McDonald's or wherever the hell you're working. I wouldn't suggest anybody go grind there. Go grind the military, because when you leave the military, they'll still pay you money. Now the VA isn't the best, but you get free healthcare on top of everything else. So something goes wrong, I'm not paying whatever the obnoxious. I think my parents are actually paying $800 a month for her and my father, just healthcare wise, which is insane. I couldn't imagine paying that. I just wouldn't have healthcare, just like most Americans don't. I just wouldn't have it. But I think everybody who's young, every young buck out there should 100% be joining the military to find out what they want to be when they grow up. I think it'll help. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? I don't know. You got anything else?
No, really. Talking about the Air Force though, it reminded me about like a couple of my friends. I've got a buddy who's a MP who works with dogs. I'm about to see if he can come on. And then I got another friend. He just graduated from the Naval Academy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's like that's college, right? Like
Yeah.
you go to college and all that. Okay.
And then you get out, and he's going.
Which
I think he's flying for Marine Air.
okay,
Yeah.
bro. The USF plays the Navy in football.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but
Some triple option.
yeah, I have no idea, but yeah, I think it's something to 100% consider. I actually the first kind of objection or something my mother pointed out to me was the presidency and who's running it. And personally, it did matter a little bit because I got to see Trump, and then I got to see when Biden came in. The morale was affected a little bit, but for the most part, I don't think it matters. What do you think?
Um, I think your day to day, yeah, your day to day does not change based on who the president is. Maybe some like big picture things, some policies might come into effect that can address you, but like even then, most of the time, or in my experience, because I was the same page as you, I had basic training right in the election year when Trump won, and then Biden took over 4 years later, obviously. So I would say the presidents that don't like come in and start changing the military, it's going to be more of like their staff, or like the military staff is going to change stuff, and that might not even change from president to president. When I was in basic training, I didn't really understand this part. When I was in basic training and Trump won, all of my drill sergeants were like excited, and they were saying that, oh, we're going to go to war now because Republican candidates go to war and Democratic candidates don't necessarily
Ah.
send troops out or something. I didn't really put much weight into that. They were all hyped up about that, but literally I didn't see my day-to-day change when Biden got into office. I mean, granted, eventually there was like some big picture stuff that happened, but I don't think that that should affect like whether or not you enlist, like who the president is.
Yeah, and I would argue to say that, so the people making the policy changes are they? I feel like they're appointed, right?
It'd be
They're
like the
appointed.
chief of staff,
Right,
like
yeah, they're appointed. The actual leaders you're dealing with day to day, do not care. Like, I really don't think they care. At least ours didn't. We're a little different. Or Tommy did regular army as well, but I don't think they care at all. Like if I was leading, I don't care. You whatever stupid policy, new policy came out with, whoever it was, I just don't think the policy changes that everyone's scared of that happen when the president shift, like you're saying, your day to day doesn't change. And the reason for that is because the actual leaders in the army are very similar to you, who are just normal dudes trying to work in the army, in the military, wherever it is, maybe trying to make 20, maybe just trying to get out after 4. And they really just don't care. Like I think that's what actually happens. I don't think that there's a real big difference. Now, you could argue if I go overseas, I know Trump's got my back. He'll save me if I'm a prisoner of war, and Biden won't. Chances of you being prisoner of war are low. That's all I really got to say. I don't think all of those type of things don't really affect you. But as you can see by the reenlistment and recruitment numbers, Tommy, they're people believe it does.
Yeah.
Like people are headstrong on thinking that it actually does, and I don't see. I used to think it did, but the morale, like I said, changed a little bit. But other than that, it's still on like the boys to have a good time. It's still on the boys to keep the morale up. There's going to be bad times, whoever the president is. The army is going to suck a little bit, or wherever military. I don't know if the Air Force does suck a little bit, to be honest. From what I hear, the Air Force is fantastic. But there will be times where it sucks, and you're just, no matter who the president is, you're still going to have good leaders. You're still going to have bad leaders. There will still be day-to-day good leaders, day-to-day bad leaders, and whoever the president isn't going to change those type of people. I will say that the leadership did set me up for a good life in leading. Like I know how people work a little bit more now, and I don't think I would have learned that if I just stayed at Home Depot like I was planning on doing, or just going to college like I was thinking about doing. I don't know. I would do it all over again, no matter what happened. Like I was very close to suicide, as many people know. That's why I started the show. And I would do every single thing all over again. I wouldn't change any of it. Do you have any regrets, Tommy? Would you change anything?
Maybe I would have thought a little bit harder about what field I initially enlisted in, or maybe I would have joined the Air Force. The reason I didn't join the Air Force is because it takes longer, or in my case, it took longer. Like the Army was like, hey, we're ready to go. Like, do you want to join? The Air Force was like, hey, we got to vet you or whatever. Or there's no jobs right now, something like that.
Okay. And that just goes to show everyone wants to join the Air Force because it's chill. They got no jobs for you. Yeah, I would I think I would kind of agree with that. I would have taken a little bit more time. I like the Army uniform more than the others. That influenced my decision. And I don't know if that was the right thing. I enjoyed the Army, but I don't think the uniform, you should care about that really at all. All of them are pretty cool. to say you were in any of them is pretty cool. And then lastly, I would say it helps you fight for something bigger than yourself. Like I didn't really know that concept until I joined the military, and after I got out. I didn't really understand the concept of fighting for something greater than just me, because I had family, so that's of course a little bit of that, but playing hockey, nothing really stuck out, or I don't know, it just didn't really click in my head. And then joining the military was like, whoa, I'm actually doing something for other people, whether they like me or not. Like there's going to be people, especially in the political climate now, that just don't like you for being in the military. And I currently still do not tell people I was in the military. They kind of got to pry it out of me because of things like that. People just, I don't know. There are people that don't like it, people that do. It's just going to happen. That's the way the world works. But I would say join for you. If you want to help something bigger, I would say join for yourself. I think every young male should do it. yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got, Tommy. Anything else?
No, I think I hit my key points.
All right. All right, then we'll stop it there. This was a lot nicer. Not a lot nicer, but the hour and 30-minute ones, those I gotta pee sometimes, dude. I gotta give me some water sometime. They drag on. But thanks everyone for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is on Twitter. Feel free to DM me, mention me. It'll be on YouTube. If you have any comments, all that type of fun stuff, feel free. And yeah, check out the website, all the extra videos, all the extra podcasts. Tommy was on there. I can't remember what episodes, but Tommy had a couple on there with us back in the day before it was Saving 22. But thanks for tuning in, Tommy. Thanks for stopping by. Quick little chat. We're gonna go have some good times on Clash Royale probably right now.
Yes, sir.
Get a couple battles in before the night starts. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.